All right. Please mute your mic, please. You're welcome to our today's class. Today we are going to take a look at anatomy and physiology. Anatomy and physiology, and we'll look at cardiovascular system. We will look at cardiovascular system from the anatomy and physiology point of view. Not AUM now. Is that clear? Not from a practical standpoint. We'll look at it from. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
From anatomy and physiology point of view. So now, cardiovascular system is not a new term to you. So tell me, what do you understand by the concept cardiovascular system?
Anything relating to the arts, like hypertension or any heart problem.
What? What this? I didn't get you.
I feel that cardiovascular system is anything that is relating to the heart and how the heart, how blood pumps in the heart, and all disease associated with heart is cardiovascular system.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, they just let me put my. All right, so let's continue, please. Sorry for the what happened, and they just switched to they restored the power, so they switched from gem to. All right, let's continue. So okay, what you said is not far, very far from the truth. There's a sense in what you said. As you say, from the term cardiovascular, cardio and what? Vascular. Cardio talks about the heart. Cardio from the heart, vascular, blood vessels. So everything that happens from the heart to the blood vessels down to the tissues, cells, and from the cells back to the heart is what we mean by what? Cardiovascular system. Now, cardiovascular system actually delivers, the basic thing about cardiovascular system is that the system delivers oxygen and nutrients to the body tissues. Delivers oxygen and nutrients to the body tissues. Then takes or carries what comes out from the tissues, waste product of metabolism from the tissues. Things like carbon dioxide and other waste product of metabolism from the tissue back to the heart. And the medium through which this happens is what is called blood. Blood is a topic on its own. We are going to treat blood. So here now we are not talking about blood. We are just talking about the pump. I call it the pump or the sumo, and the pipes, plumbing pipe. So what happened in the cardiovascular system can be likened to in your house now, you are sumo that help to pump water, and the pipe through which the water gets into the house, maybe the one that will go to that will be in the bedroom and shower, the one that go to wash and sink, the one that enter the kitchen. All those pipes can be likened to what? Our blood vessels. Why the water that is being conveyed can be likened to the what? Blood. Remember, this is just cardiovascular system. We are not discussing blood. But blood is the medium through which these nutrients gets to the tissues, and the waste products goes back to the heart. From the heart, they will now enter the lungs, where the exchange will take place. That is for pulmonary system. So let's focus on what cardiovascular system. So that's what cardiovascular system is all about. Now, how does the cardiovascular system carry out this all important function? As I said before now, the heart is the pump. It pumps blood. It pumps blood. So once the heart pumps blood, the blood will now go to different parts of the body through the blood vessels. So the blood flows. But one thing I want you to understand is that this blood flow has a very, in fact, depends on the amount of pressure, the pumping action of the heart. Just as you, okay, now let me, something like, let me, this is not the days of when they have, anyway, some states stay happy to, they have reservoir where they pump pipe bomb water, where they pump from reservoir, and it goes to different streets. Do you know the amount of pressure at which the water will be pumped from the reservoir? Very, very high pressure, because if the pressure is not much, the water will not be able to get to the respective streets and the houses. The reservoir is even faster. Even you are in a school where they have a particular, where they have overhead tank or whatever, and they have pipes that goes to different quarters and houses, classes or labs. If the pressure at which the water is pumped from the sumo or the reservoir, as case may be, is not much, the water can never get to those houses. So the same thing happens to the cardiovascular system. So the pressure at which the heart pumps out blood, we have a lot role to play on how the blood gets to different tissues and cells, as the case may be. So the pumping action of the heart is very important, because it is that pumping action that will impart the pressure. You hear of blood pressure. If there's no pressure, the blood can never flow. Blood can never get to the to the tissues. Is that pressure? So blood pressure is very important. But it becomes an issue if the blood pressure is higher than the normal. Remember that this blood from the vessel, they get to the different cells, right? Tissues. So if the pressure at which this blood gets to tissue is very high than normal, above the homeostatic level, what will happen? They will hit the blood will hit those tissues. We call it end organ or tissue damage. The pressure will damage the tissue. The tissue, the organ tissue can be the brain. The person will have issue, maybe cardiovascular accident or whatever. So what am I saying? And the blood pressure is very, very important, because without the blood pressure, there will be no what? Blood will not get to different tissues. And if blood ends up not getting to these tissues, no nutrients, there will be no nutrients. And the cells will start dying. And give it within short period of time, the person, the organism will die. Because what is death all about? The cells will start dying. Now, depending on the cell in question. So this is just a way of introduction. So the point I'm making here is that the blood flow requires both the pumping action of the heart and the changes in the blood pressure, the pressure in the blood. Very important. And this pressure in the blood is impacted by the heart. So that's the point I'm trying to make here. So then why do we need cardiovascular system? So cardiovascular system perform very vital role. I have already said it. I say that it sends through the blood nutrients to where the tissues and take back waste product. Now, if the cardiovascular system is malfunctioning, of course, nutrients cannot get to the what. Of course, you know the origin of the nutrients, right? The nutrients come from where? Come from where? Come from where? Nutrition. Remember, nutrition. Remember, if you eat, break down respiration and what have you. Let us not go there. That one is a different system. So when this happens, nutrient will not get to the tissue. And even the waste product of metabolism that left the cells and tissue will not be able to be taken away from the system. And they will start building up. And it's a problem. If the waste that are supposed to leave is built up in the body, it's a problem too. So an oxygen, of course, oxygen and nutrients will not get. So the cell will find the individual will die. That one, there is no miracle. Anyway, unless miracle occur, I still believe in miracle. But basically, the person will die. The organism will die. So that's the point I'm trying to make here. So cardiovascular system, very, very, very important. Any questions so far? Hope you're with me.
I'm with you, sir. No questions, sir.
So this is the way of what? Introduction. This is the way of what? Introduction. Okay, let's continue. Now, from what I said now, so the cardiovascular system is divided into what and what? What are the main components of the cardiovascular system?
Heart and blood.
Which of them is the pump and which of them is the pipe? Which of the components is the pump? And which of the components is the pipe? Huh? I'm listening.
Arteries.
Huh?
Arteries and vein.
Are the what?
Are the pump and pipe.
I don't understand. Which one? Which of the components of the cardiovascular system is referred to as the pump?
Heart.
The heart. Okay. So whenever they mention cardiovascular system, people think it's all about the heart. No, it's not. It's not all about the heart. Just like I see, there are some. Okay, let me just surgeons now. If you see a cardiovascular, a surgeon that specializes on cardiovascular system, is the heart and the vessel. The one that is cardiothoracic, specifically for where? The heart. So if you hear cardiovascular, please, it's not just about the heart, it's about the what? The heart and the what? The blood vessel. The heart and the what? The blood vessel. Okay? Okay? Now, you know that night and day, the human heart does not rest. In fact, if your heart rests, that means you just died. Are you aware? The human heart does not just sleep. Yes, while you are sleeping, the beat may slow down. I agree, but it does not stop. If it stops, it's a problem, very big problem. Very big problem, because there will be hold up. There will be hold up in the vascular, in the blood vessels, in the sense that blood will not, nutrients will not get, and there will be accumulation of what? Waste. So it's important we understand this. So whether you are sleeping or you are awake, the heart keeps beating. And it's actually the beat. It's actually the beat that brings about the pressure we are talking about. That's why if you want to go and check your blood pressure, apart from checking the diastolic and the systolic blood pressure, they also check your what? Your pulse. Very important. Your pulse is also very important. Not just the blood pressure at the what? The diastolic and your systolic and your what? Diastolic what? Blood pressure. We'll still go deep into that, but I want you to understand that this keep happening. It does not, the heart does not stop. Once your heart stops, it's tantamount to the person that have gone to what? To journey of no return. So now, in the cells, you did internal environment, you did homeostasis. Okay, before homeostasis, I believe you did cellular compartment. The compartment, we have the fluids, we have the intercellular fluid, intracellular and extracellular, right? And we have the interstitial fluid, the fluid that bathes the cell, in between the cells. So the fluid that bathes the cell is actually in the interstitial fluid that you have this, whatever that comes out from the cells as waste enters the interstitial fluid. And if this thing, as I said before now, the heart has issue pumping or doing its function, carry out its function effectively, this accumulation happens in this what? Interstitial fluid. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is that the heart, the function of the heart is to always refresh these fluids, take away the waste there, and supply nutrients that will enter the cell. So it's necessary that this nutrient is renewed and the waste is taken away to avoid what? Pollution. I think I've said it before now, but I'm just putting it in another way. So we understand how important this is in what we are talking about. Are we together? Are we together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, so now let's continue. So now, there's something else I want to say concerning this, the heart, the pump, the vessel. Now, this vessel in question is a one-way. The blood doesn't go front and start going back. No. Once the heart pumps, it's a one-way movement from the aorta down to the lower, smaller arteries, arterioles, down to the capillary, even drainage from the cells going back to the venous, capillary venous, veins, inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, depending on where they're coming from. All this movement is one way. There's nothing like going up and coming down. If you go up and come down, it's a problem. And what helps it to go one way is what we call valves. These vessels, they have valves that prevent blood from going back. So it's just a one-way thing. That's why some people, they have what is called varicose veins. So some, due to the fact that that one is common, that one is, you can physically see it. If you look at some people's leg, you see something that looks like some may be small, but there are some you see. It looked as if there's accumulation of fluids, somehow have what, if you look at it, you would think it's maybe a worm or something. No, that thing is blood. The vessels, mainly the veins that are supposed to send blood back, the valves, maybe the valves are weak, they will keep extending and they keep accumulating. It's a very delicate situation, because if there's any problem there, I don't know if the person will survive it. So this is what I mean by the valve. So all these vessels in question, they have valves, one-way valves, irrespective of where they are in the body. So now, that's a word of introduction. Now let's go straight to the hearts. Let's look at the hearts. Let's look at the hearts and take it off from there. Please, next class, please try to come on time so that within 1 hour we'll be able to cover something. Is that clear? Please. I don't know why others are not here. I don't know why others are not here, but it's okay. Now let's look at the hearts, anatomy of the heart. What is anatomy? What is anatomy?
It's the study of how the body functions. It's the study of the function of the body.
Are you for real? Say it again, please.
Yeah. Anatomy is the structure and function of the body.
Okay. And anatomy has no business with function. Okay. And anatomy is all about what? Structure. Is that clear? Structure, their position, their relationship with other structures in the body. That's what anatomy is all about. So when you talk about function, that's when physiology comes in. Is that clear? All right. So I know why I asked the question, because we want to look at the anatomy of what? Anatomy of the heart. Put down these assignments first before we continue. Put down this assignment. Do it in the next class. Do it well. Do it as PowerPoint slide. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do it as PowerPoint slide in our next anatomy class. I will shoot it. You will say, I'll give you like 5 minutes to discuss it. So put down a question, then use PowerPoint. Please send it a day before our next anatomy. After look at the timetable, send it to me a day or 2 days before our anatomy class. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question says, are you with pen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Discuss the location of the heart, discuss the location of the heart and its anatomical relationship with the surrounding structures. Discuss the location of the heart and its anatomical relationship with the surrounding structures.
Gotten, sir.
Gotten?
Yes.
Of course,
Sir.
you should. I expect to see good diagrams that depict the relationship of the heart with other structures. Is that clear? So that's what I want you to do. So if there's before the end of the class, if there's any other one, I'll let you know. Let's continue. So the first thing I want us to look at is we look at the size of the heart. We look at the size of the heart. And the size and weight of the heart, anyway. The weight of the heart is anyway, it varies anyway, but basically it's less than a pound anyway. It's less than a pound. But the size of the heart has been shown to be the size of the person's fist. See my fist, right? See my fist. Can you see my fist? So from
Yes, sir.
from all indication now, my heart is this is the size of my heart. In fact, even the feet itself have the shape of the heart. See the apex, see the base, apex, the base. Anyway, we will see describe it. Let's continue. All right, so it's approximately the size of the person's what? Fist. Now, how does the heart look like? The heart has cone shape. Cone. In your mathematics, you know what a cone is, right? Cone shape. It has the shape of a cone and it is hollow. The heart is hollow. The heart is what? Hollow. So it's a chamber. It's a chamber because blood need to. There should be a space within through blood, with blood can enter and pass through, so that the pressure by that due to contraction of the heart muscle, this contraction now will now impact pressure on this blood that will now leave the heart, and with this pressure, the blood will not get to different parts of the body. So there is a region of the body known as the what? In the thoracic region, there's a part of the thoracic region known as the mediastinum. Mediastinum. Mediastinum is just that kind of triangular or whatever space that between the two lungs that is flanked by the two lungs. Flanked by the two lungs. So that's what is called what? Mediastinum. Now, the heart is actually located inside this mediastinum, but in the inferior part of the mediastinum, and it rests on the diaphragm. It rests on the what? Diaphragm, in the inferior part of the what? The mediastinum. So actually, the mediastinum is at the medial. Thank God you did anatomical terms, anatomical positions. If I say lateral, you know what lateral is? Medial, you know what medial is? Okay, so let us not waste our time there. So I said that the mediastinum is at the medial section of the thoracic cavity. At the medial section of the what? Thoracic cavity. Remember I said that the heart is located at the inferior part of the what? The mediastinum. And the mediastinum, as I said before now, is flanked by this on this side by the lungs, the right lung and the left lungs. They flank the what? The mediastinum. So inside the mediastinum, in the inferior part, you have the heart. Now, there are two parts of the heart I want to talk about, the apex and the base. Remember, I told you, let's assume this is the fist, right? My fist. This is how the heart locates there. This is the apex. The base is here. This is the apex. Is that clear? This is the apex. It's just like this. The apex is like this. So,
I am not seeing the hand very well.
I say yes. Okay, let me show you where. See what I'm saying. Can you see my fist now?
Yes, sir.
This is the apex. The base is up here. The apex is. So if you hear apex now, I know your mind with you think that the apex is one at the upper part. No, that's the mystery. The apex is actually here, the lower part, while the base is at the upper part. Now, by the time you do the assignment I gave you, you will appreciate that it well. That's why I gave the assignment. I want you to do it. Are we together? So now, as I said before, now the apex is not up, is lower like this. It's actually it is directed towards the left, left here. This is where you feel the pulse. You feel that pulse when they want to check the apical pulse using your what? Using what? Stethoscope. This is where, if that pulse is felt here at the what? The apex of the what? The heart. So I say that it's directed what? Towards the left, and it's actually, it rests on the diaphragm. It rests on the what? Diaphragm. If you want to check the position with respect to the intercostal space, is actually at the level of the fifth intercostal what? Space. You know what intercostal space is now? The space between the ribs, the fifth intercostal space. Now we have the second, third, fourth, fifth, the fifth intercostal space somewhere here. Now, as I said before, now this is where, if they want to, if you go to hospital or whatever, they want to check your apical pulse. This is where they will place the what? The stethoscope to be able to do what? Get the pulse. Exactly to feel your this thing. Now, the base is actually posterior superior. Remember when I showed you, I use my fist. It's superior. It's not anterior. It's superior but posterior. Posterior superior. Posterior superior. Is posterior what? Superior. Now, so what happened to the base? I said that the base, this is where, in fact, the base is actually where the great vessels of the body emerge. Do you know what these great vessels are? Example of one of the, give me an example of the great vessel I'm talking about.
Is it like aorta?
Aorta, yes. Ascending, but it's not aorta. Before aorta. Anyway.
Right ventricle, left ventricle.
Before aorta,
Atrium.
something. What is it called?
Is it right ventricle?
Anyway,
Atrium.
anyway. Are they really vessels? Is the ventricle? Are they really vessels? Are they vessels or chambers? I'm twisting your brain now. Are they vessels or chambers? What do you
They
think?
are both vessels and chambers.
They are what?
Both vessels and chambers.
Are you serious? Tell me more about them. Eh? Tell me what is it that they are both vessels and chambers?
Because they act the same function as a vessel and as a chamber.
Yeah.
The blood moves, yes, the blood moves from the right ventricle to the left ventricle to the aorta. I don't know what I'm saying. No.
Okay, which of them actually gets blood to the aorta? Don't worry. Let me not. We will still discuss this, please. Let me not. We'll still talk about this, okay? And just know that all the grey vessels, they come from the where? They emerge from the what? The base of the what? The heart. Is that clear? The base of the what? The heart. And the base of the heart actually points towards the what? The right shoulder. Please, the apex move more to the left, while the base point more to the right what? Shoulder. Understand this. Is that clear? And it lies below the second rib. The base is posterior superior, and it point towards the what? The right shoulder, below the what? The second rib. The apex rests on the what? The diaphragm, and tilt to the what? The left. And that is where they place the what? The stethoscope, specifically at the fifth intercostal space, where they place the what? The stethoscope for apical pulse check. Is that clear? Please let us move forward. We go into the heart chambers, talk about all those vessels, and by that time I will bring up this question again. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
So let's continue. We have roughly 11 minutes to go. Let's continue. So now let us now go deeper into the heart. So now let's talk about we'll talk about the wall, the walls of the heart. But before then, we talk about the coverings, what the sac, what and what. We start from the superficial part of the heart down to the external part of the heart to the internal part of the heart. So that is how we are going to describe the heart. So we start from the superficial. So superficially, the heart is enclosed by a sac. The heart is enclosed by a sac. And this sac is known as the pericardium. This sac is known as what? The pericardium. The pericardium has 3 layers. The pericardium has 3 layers. The fibrous layer. The fibrous what? Layer. And this fibrous layer is known as what? The fibrous pericardium. You also have the what? The serous pericardium. Actually, it's 2 main layers. Actually, the fibrous pericardium and the serous. But what happens is that this serous has two layers. This serous pericardium has 2 layers. We have the one we call parietal pericardium, and we have the one we call visceral pericardium. So in all, we have this pericardium is divided into 3. So we have fibrous pericardium, parietal pericardium, and visceral pericardium. Whereas the parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium make up the what? The serous pericardium. So we are going to look at them one after the other. So let's start from the outermost layer, which is the fibrous pericardium, which is the superficial part of the sac we are talking about. So the superficial part of the pericardium is known as what? The fibrous pericardium. What does this fibrous pericardium do? Fibrous pericardium protect the heart. Not just protecting it now, it also helps the heart to get attached or anchored to the surrounding structures. Structures like the diaphragm. Remember I told you that the apex of the heart rests on the what? The diaphragm. If it is not anchored on the diaphragm, that means the heart will just be doing like this. Am I communicating? Am I communicating?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So this fibrous pericardium anchors the heart to the surrounding what structures, structure like the diaphragm and the sternum. The sternum, you know that the sternum is at this anterior part of the mediastinum. So the sternum, behind the sternum, the heart is there. So the heart, the fibrous pericardium attaches anchors the heart to the what? Sternum, from the back to the back of the sternum, descending to the diaphragm. So this thing now we have the heart to stay in the mediastinum without jumping up and down like rats or whatever. So that's why your heart is fixed, even though yes, it's not total, it's not, there's room for, but not jumping up and down. If not, I don't know, your heart will just fly away one day. So now, so that's what fibrous pericardium does. So after the fibrous pericardium, we have the next layer, which is the serous pericardium. Remember, I told you that it's under the serous pericardium that we have the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. So now let's look at the serous pericardium. Actually, the serous pericardium is slippery. It's what? Slippery because of the serous fluid secreted. It secretes. So it's what? Slippery. And as I said before now, the serous pericardium is made up of what? Two layers. We have the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. Now, let's look at the parietal pericardium. So in between the pericardium and visceral pericardium, there is a cavity there. We will get there. So let's start with what? Parietal pericardium. So parietal pericardium, that is the parietal layer of the serous pericardium on the parietal pericardium. This one, this pericardium is one that lines the interior part of the fibrous pericardium. It lines the interior part of the what? Fibrous pericardium. So that's where the parietal pericardium does. It lines the interior, not exterior. Remember that exterior part of the fibrous pericardium is the one that anchors to the diaphragm and the sternum. So the parietal now lines the interior part of the what? Fibrous pericardium. Now, if you now go to the superior part of the heart, where you will have the great what? Vessels. Is that clear? That is the large arteries. The veins, the great, we call them the great vessels, the superior part. Remember what you said that at the superior part is the base. The posterior superior is the base where the great vessels emerge. So now if you go to that superior part of the heart, the base specifically, what happens here is that the parietal pericardium attaches to these great arteries that leaves the heart. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Feel free to ask if you have any question. Now let's continue. So through is at the superior part. That's where the arteries now, the large arteries, leaves the heart. Now, when it gets there, it makes a U-turn. It turns and continues inferiorly over the heart surface. First of all, remember the first layer, fibrous. The parietal, the serous should be under the what? Fibrous pericardium, below the fibrous pericardium. But the outer part of the serous pericardium, which is the what? Parietal pericardium, lines the the fibrous pericardium. It lines the fibrous pericardium up to the superior parts. Now, when you get there, it now makes U-turn and now lines the what? Line the what? The it goes inferiorly, but over the heart surface now. Remember all this while we've been describing the sac. We have not touched the heart. The heart is inside that what? Sac. The heart is inside the what? The sac. So inside the sac now, it will not when the periater, the pericardium gets to that upper part, it makes a U-turn, folds, and now lines the what? The surface of the what? The heart. The surface of the what? The heart. Is that clear? Now, that is the parietal pericardium for you. Now, let's look at visceral pericardium. Remember, the visceral pericardium is the second layer of the serous pericardium. So, what happens in the visceral pericardium? Another name for visceral pericardium is epicardium. Please note that point. Another name for visceral pericardium is what? Epicardium. Epicardium. Now, this epicardium now, or the visceral pericardium, is actually part of the heart wall. This one is now form part of the what? The wall of the heart. Is that clear? So, in a nutshell, you can say that the epicardium is the innermost layer of the what? Pericardium. Fibrous pericardium, parietal pericardium, visceral pericardium, or epicardium. That is the innermost what? Part of the pericardium. At the same time, is the innermost part of the pericardium, but it is outermost bit of the heart wall, because it's part of the heart wall too. Innermost part of the pericardium, but outermost part of the what? The heart wall. So, what happened in this, between this visceral parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium? So, between this parietal pericardium and visceral pericardium, we have what is called the lubricating serous fluid. So, this lubricating serous fluid is produced by the what? This serous pericardial membranes I talk about, the visceral and the parietal. So when this fluid is produced, it collects in the cavity. The cavity between the visceral pericardium and the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. And this cavity is where this fluid, serous fluid, collects. And this cavity is called pericardial cavity. It's the cavity between the visceral the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. The pericardial cavity. Now you soon find out the importance of this pericardial, why you have this space in between the two layers. Now let's continue. So the fluid here, remember that the visceral pericardium forms the part of the what? The wall of the heart. The heart wall. That is the outermost, also the outermost part of the wall. The heart is set down. So this space is that pericardial cavity is very important, and this fluid there is very important because it helps the heart. You know, when the heart beats, it needs space to avoid friction. It needs space to avoid what? As it's beating. It needs space to avoid what? Okay. I thought somebody want to end. Our time has elapsed, so I'm just trying to round up. So it needs space to do what? To move to, as it's beating. It needs space to avoid friction. Is that clear? So it's very important. That's the importance of this what? The fluid and the what? The pericardial what? Cavity. Any question? Any question?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
I think I'll stop here. I don't like long lectures. I will stop here. Next time, come on time. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
We'll continue
Thank
from here. We'll continue from here in our next class. Please do the assignment. Do the assignment I'm serious about it. Do it in the PowerPoint. I also let me see what your PowerPoint will look like. If I have anything to say, please let it be serious PowerPoint, not just you have to include. In fact, reference must be there. Do it as if you are doing presentation. Reference must be there. Reference must be there. Don't go and do anyhow. I'm coming here. Reference must be there. And your in-text citation, just follow your research methodology. This is not a childish word. You are a senior citizen, so do it like senior citizens. All right, thank you very much.
Yes,
thank you very much. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you, sir.